All right, guys. Welcome to another episode. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's another episode of that's just it's a morbid episode of how the impact of how we raise our kids. And there's this. If you're not familiar, this father who ran over a deputy because the day prior he lost his son to the police through because they shot and killed him. Now, it's not. I don't want you to hear this and think immediately like, oh my goodness, like okay, another police brutality thing. I don't think that's the case here. It's unfortunate. I'm not going to make a lot of assertions of what I think happened and how it happened, but I will. But what I will do is analyze what I believe where family and the impact of fatherhood should have been applied here in these situations in this instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the NBC News. And I'm gonna so you can get some insight to what happened per the news, not just what happened according to Quan. So let's get over to here, and let's do this right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch this video right here. Oh, okay, hold on. I don't think it's showing you what I wanted to show you. Geez. No. Okay. There we go. It should be showing you what I want you to see.
In honor of fallen Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson.
He was so well liked and so well known. We could fill this building with the law enforcement agencies that respect him, love him.
The recently retired 33-year veteran was working traffic patrol Friday afternoon.
I've got an officer now.
When police say he was intentionally struck by the father of a teen fatally shot the day before by an officer from a different department. Henderson later dying at the hospital.
There is a connection between these two incidents.
38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr. is now behind bars and charged with aggravated murder. Court documents say the defendant drove across oncoming lanes of traffic through the intersection and directly at the deputy, who was wearing a fluorescent vest.
There are no evidence of skid marks. There are no evidence that he tried to avoid him.
In court, Hinton's public defender calling this an emotionally charged situation. The crash happening less than 3 hours after his family says Hinton met with Cincinnati police.
All right. Okay. My light just shut off. That was weird. Okay. Hold on. That was weird. My lights just shut off. Sorry, guys. We're going to fix this. We are going to fix this live for you. Let's do that right here. Okay, sorry about that. That was weird. My light went off. Never done that before. So anyway, let's take a moment, okay, guys. So you hear what happened, right? Fatal shooting of his son. Matter of fact, look, I'm gonna keep playing it because I think this is the part that you should want to see.
To review body camera videos showing the shooting of his 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton. The videos, now publicly released, show Hinton running and being shot by city police. Cincinnati police say the teen was armed and pointed a gun toward an officer who was responding to a call of a stolen vehicle.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right!
Hinton was shot about 6 seconds after officers get out of their vehicles.
Go!
He wasn't supposed to be there.
All right, so first and foremost, my condolences and my prayers go out to the officer's family, and then as well as to the family of the young man, that life that was lost. Because it doesn't change the fact that life was lost. That doesn't change. Life was lost. There were people were people impacted by this and what happened, and so life life may continue for us, but life was lost and life was impacted. So my condolences and my prayers go out to them, those family members. But here's what I want to, here's where I want to start. Already on social media, already across the media, what do you see is this black versus white thing, or this black versus us versus them, police brutality versus police versus the citizens, police brutality, all these things, all these narratives. And I want to pause those narratives and just remove the matter of fact, I want to remove those narratives. And what I want to make this about, what I want to point this to is the impact and how we got here. Because I think so many of us, so many times when things like this happen, what we do is we analyze who we think, who the victim is and who we think the perpetrator is. And then, and this one is very diluted with people making choices and then taking away the choices from others. Right. So the first part that I want to cover, and the first thing I want to come over here is this father. I understand the sentiment, the feelings, the emotions behind this, right? Behind these emotionally charged feelings. I understand hear me when I say this, I understand his decision. I don't condone his decision. As a parent myself, I can only imagine what it's like to have your kid taken from you. So I can understand and even sympathize with the fact of like how angry he must have felt. However, what you don't do is you don't get in your car driving around looking for an officer. And I'm assuming, again, I'm not saying that's what based off what that was reported, this sounded like what he did. And you go and you don't drive at a random officer that said, hey, he's the point of my anger and where I'm going to take it out on. And I think that is where that's wrong. I mean, taking the life of someone else because in this regard, it's like that is wrong. Because ultimately, unfortunately, the truth and the reality of the situation is your son was in a situation that he put himself in. And not only did he put himself in a situation and didn't seem to try to get out of it, but he didn't try to de-escalate the situation. And what I mean by, I'm trying to be careful with my words because I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying here, because I do think it's a tragic loss of life in this regards. But what I do want to say is accountability is essential here. And that young man had the opportunity to make several different choices, all right, from stealing the car, from choosing to steal the car, not to steal the car, be with those kids he was being with, hanging out with. And then on top of that, to have a firearm on him and then to make the choice to pull the firearm out or have the firearm ready with the police officers. It is 2025. How many police brutality videos have we seen have been put on the news in our faces, especially for this young man who was 18 in the last 5-10 years, where the young people, whomever was doing something with a weapon, and if they would have just not had the weapon or surrendered or whatever the case might be, their lives would have been saved. And in this regards right here, in this instance, and with seeing this, right, like in this moment, like for me, it's one of those things of like, you could have just given up, right? Like you just don't make the situation worse. But I wasn't there, so I can't really say the nitty gritty of the facts of what happened. Right? I wasn't there. I wasn't in the car with him, and I wasn't, his friends or whatever that led him to make this decision. But what I will tell you is, I think it's important is in how we raise our kids. This is what I was talking about. This is what I'm talking about. How we raise our kids. When there's lawlessness in your society, things like this start to seep out, and things like this start to happen more and more. And we're seeing more unfortunate things and tragic things happening in our society, in our world, because we're a godless nation. We're a godless society. And so many of you, and I know you're probably tired of hearing me say this, but I don't care because this is the truth. We're a godless society. We all need God. We need God. Okay. Think about it. Judges 21 verse 25. I'll pull it up. I think I already had it up here. Yep. Judges 21 verse 25. This is the last verse of the book of Judges. And it says, in those days, Israel had no king. All the people did whatever seemed right in their own eyes. This is where we are at in our society right now. We don't have a leader or we don't have leadership that is founded on biblical teachings, godly teachings, and godly beliefs, and we now live in a society that is full of lawlessness. And I read that the other day, and I thought to myself, this is what's happening right now. I'm not saying like none of this, it won't happen. This couldn't happen, right? But what I think is, and what I believe is, you have to raise your kids up the right way. We have to teach them what it is to have morals, what it is to have values, what it is to respect themselves, what it is to work hard, and what it is to say, to work to earn what you have. In this instance right here, this young man lost his life, and he didn't have, like, understand when I say this, he didn't have to, but he made a choice. He made a choice, and now he has to live with it. But I want you to pay attention to something, okay? I'm going to go back here to the point where his father, because this is who I want to talk about. This is why I think this is why fatherhood is important, right? Because this demeanor, this attitude, this tells me, this kind of paints a picture for me of the father that raised his son. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I've met fathers who've lost their kids in a tragic way, and everyone responds differently. But like, this is the real him seeping out. I believe. So I'm gonna go back here to this point.
Avoid him.
In court, Hinton's public defender.
Look at the way he's looking at those officers, as if he didn't have, hey, you didn't have these handcuffs on, I would, you would see what's up. That honestly pisses me off. That pisses me off because I'm thinking, it makes me think, if frustrating to think to myself, like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You took the life of an officer. They're going to come out in full force and make sure you know that you took the life of one of them. In the military, if something happens, terrorists, whatever, and we got people pinned down somewhere, and like I think of back being in Afghanistan, we got someone pinned down, and QRF is called. Understand, you're getting the full force of the United States of American military, the full force. And so in this instance, when he decided to take the life of this officer, in a coward way, to be honest with you, he's getting the full force of showing him, hey, this is who we are. This is what you did. This is you took one of ours. And this is the where the crucial point of a crippling society is going. We are turning into a lawless society. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We're just a lawless society, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Again, I can sympathize with this father and sit there and be like, yeah, like I feel for you, man. Like you lost your son. I can only imagine what that's like. But to the extreme of doing that, I don't know what I would do, guys, if I lost one of my kids that way. But I can tell you this: what I wouldn't do is put myself in a position where I can't protect my other kids, or I can't figure out what happened and get justice, some form of justice for my kids. Behind bars, he cannot do anything. He is now seen and will always be seen, if and when he is found guilty, as a criminal. That is it. That is what is associated with him from this point on. And I don't think he sees that. And I think that's a little frustrating to me. Is like, you don't understand the ramifications based off of your actions. But let's go back to this point where he is crying. I think this is him the day prior.
He wasn't supposed to, Peter. He wasn't. He was scared. He tripped and fell. He must have been so scared. I'm so sorry, Ryan.
We are very...
And so this is frustrating, right? To hear he said he wasn't supposed to be there. What does that mean? I'm sorry. Like, I genuinely want to know and want to understand. What does that mean? Because he made choices. Unless his friends held him at gunpoint and got him and led him to the car, handed him the gun, a loaded gun, or I assumed it's a loaded. I don't know if there's actual bullets in there. I won't speculate, but I can speak in obvious. I think it's pretty obvious. But anyway, and said, hey, don't hurt us because even though we're threatening you, no, but, be prepared to hurt anybody else who hurts you and steal his car with us. I don't think that's what happened. I'm telling you all, Occam's razor, he was hanging out with the wrong group. And this is why it's important who you surround yourself. As parents, this is why it's important is when with our kids, we have to make sure they surround themselves with people that are going to show them, that are going to help them and lead them down the right path. It's not to say kids are not going to be kids, but at this point, he's 18 years old and he decides to steal a car with a firearm. I don't think those are the right friends to be hanging out with. I wouldn't want my kids hanging out with that type of crowd. And as parents, you could point and you can say like, hey, that's not the type of no, Holy Spirit, that's not the people he doesn't need to be hanging out with those kids. He doesn't need to be hanging out with those people because they're going to lead him down a wrong path. And in this instance, he was led down a wrong path. And it led to him losing his life. His friends, by the way, 2 of them, from my understanding, from reading the report, 2 of them got away, or 2 of them were arrested, and 1 of them was still at large. This is the frustrating part. This is truly frustrating for me, is I hear that he was scared. I'm sure he must have been scared. But again, we make choices, and we cannot, guys, we cannot just sit there and have someone else be the one who takes accountability for our choices. We have to be accountable. We have to be. I'm frustrated because I believe in accountability and I believe in the choices that we make. And it seems to me a lot of times it's very easy to say, well, this person made me do this. This was this. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. You put yourself in this position.
Very close family. This is killing us.
Tonight,
I hear that. And again, sympathy, my heart goes out to them. But again, like, if you guys are a close family, what are you teaching those young people within that family? Are you teaching them values? Are you teaching them biblical values? Are you teaching them, forget biblical values, even if you don't care in the Holy Spirit, if you don't believe in Jesus? Are you teaching them any values? Are you teaching them who to hang out with? Like, this is what I'm saying. The foundation of how we raise our kids and what we raise upon. This is what's important. I just read to you Judges 21, verse 25. I just read to you, okay? Like, you've seen it. It's constantly repeat after repeat after repeat. And no one does, and we wonder why these things are happening. We have free will, guys. We have free will. You have to start making good choices. Now, making good choices doesn't guarantee you will live a long, full life. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't. However, it gives you a higher probability of doing that. And I think that's important. I think giving you the best, you want to give your kids the best chance. It's like, okay, I want to give my kids the best chance to make it to the league. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure they get some of the best coaches. I'm gonna make sure they're practicing. I'm gonna make sure that they go to one of the best high schools that I can get them in. I'm gonna make sure and they're varsity and they're starting. I'm gonna make sure they go to the best. They have the ability to get into the best colleges to play at that level, to be seen, and then even to get drafted one day. Like, these are the things that you do in order to help your kids. And yeah, that's a kind of a jab at Shador here, but these are the things that you do in order to help set your kids up for success, in order to give them the best possibility in order for them to be successful. And that is what I think is important here. And that is what I think a lot of parents are wanting to do, and what you want to give your kids. So why would we not do that in life? Why would we only apply that to sports? That doesn't make any sense.
Teens' families speaking out with their family attorneys who say they're investigating the shooting.
I'm angry because it shouldn't have never happened. I want to find out exactly what steps was taken and the protocol.
While also offering their condolences to the deputy they say was tragically killed.
In that statement, you made a point to notice and acknowledge the pain that the family of the fallen deputy is feeling as well. What was in your heart when you did that? Why did you find the need?
I was crying about what happened to the innocent officer, so That's all it's all about. It's all about healing each other.
I think that's important right there, and I like that the grandfather said, "Hey, like we need to heal each other." That's what it's about. That is what it is wholeheartedly is about right there, and I like that the grandfather took the time to do that, to kind of have that opportunity to say those things. I want to get to, there was this article. There's this article. Where is it? Okay, here's what I'm going to do, because I'm going to put this article over here. All right, forgive me, guys. Forgive me, okay? I'm going to get this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this article pulled up for you guys, because I want to read something to you from here that I thought was interesting. And this is from CNN. So this article is going to be from CNN. Let me see if I can make sure I pull it up here. Okay, we have it pulled up here. Okay, so the article from CNN, this is from today. This is from earlier. Matter of fact, I'll reload it so we can see, just make sure we're good to go. Update on here. I'll get that up there. All right, so this is, it says Rodney Hinton Jr.'s son, who shot dead by the police, denied bond in killing the sheriff's deputy after disturbance in the court. So there was a disturbance in the court. There was a gentleman yelling, "That's my brother! That's my brother!" And so they had him leave the court, and then they had to come back in and whatever. But the part I want to focus on is right here. So it says Hinton Jr.'s attorney, Clyde Bennett II, entered a plea of not guilty on his client's behalf and requested bail. During Tuesday's hearing, Bennett asked for Hinton Jr. not to be thought of as a cop killer, but a person with mental illness. I don't think, and this is a quote here from his attorney, "I don't think he was a cop killer. I think he's not in his right mind," Bennett said, "and I think he should be treated like any other mentally ill person that commits a crime under the auspices, I don't know that word is, auspices, control, and authority of a mental defect in the condition." And then this is what I was talking about. And man, I just want my brother to see me. So I think I'm be honest. I read that and I was aghast. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That I was flabbergasted by. I know I can say the flabbergasted, but I can't say that word. But anyway, I was flabbergasted by that. By his attorneys. I understand the not guilty plea because obviously you want to protect your client. But what I don't understand and what I don't get is we're blaming this on a mental illness. Again, he lost his son. I get that. I sympathize with him in that regards. But what I don't get is you're saying, hey, we shouldn't label him as a cop killer, which that's not factual. Factually, he is a cop killer. And which is weird is because you acknowledge guilt without acknowledging, saying not guilty. But anyway, I won't get into the weeds of that. And he should be treated as a mentally ill person that commits a crime under, and he basically didn't have a control of authority of his mental defect in the condition. No, I think he's just a grieving. I think he's a grieving parent. I think he was a grieving parent, and he made a decision based off the emotions that he felt during being a grieving parent. Not all the decisions that we make when we're grieving or when we're upset are good decisions. Or I would bet to say that most of those decisions are probably not good decisions we make from an emotional state like that. But that's what he did. He made a decision. He made a choice from that emotional state, and then he took the life of somebody else, an innocent person who had no involvement in this, but he took that person's life. And so I think that is important here to say, like, I'm sorry, Quan Wilcox, I don't agree with your plea. I understand the not guilty plea, but I don't agree with the reasoning, the rationale behind the decision and the choice that he made. I don't agree with that. I think he is and was a sound-minded person, and he made a choice, and it was the wrong choice. And I think this is an example. This example here is a frustrating thing, and I think his bail being denied. I think he deserves that. I don't think he deserves bail because clearly, he could go do something else. I don't know, but based off what we do know, what we've seen, he could go do something lead to other actions, worse actions. So I do think, unfortunately, like, hey, he doesn't deserve bail. And I think that this mentally illness plea is BS. I'm so tired. I'm so sick and tired of every time someone commits a crime, the first thing that happens is people say is mentally ill. Don't get me wrong. There are mentally ill people. There are mental illnesses. The people have mental illnesses and whatever. However, I know they exist. I understand they exist. I've experienced some of them myself. Right? Depression, anxiety, PTSD. I've experienced those things. I know what those things are. I know that they're real. However, you need to go get help if that's the case. You cannot be left to your own accord if the action, the response you're going to have is, now I'm going to go take the life of somebody else, or God forbid, you're going to go take your own life, right? Like no, you need to go seek help. Seek help, guys. And 988, if you feel like, if you or anybody you know is for real, like this is like not even plugged, this is just for real. If you or anybody you know who's having mental problems or mental concerns, and they're not in the right headspace, and they're talking about hurting themselves, or God forbid even hurting somebody else, right? Like, first and foremost, if it's an emergency, call 911, but also 988, like that's the suicide hotline. Get them help. It's free. It's just so they can get the help that they need. Okay. But I don't think this is an appropriate plea. I don't think it's appropriate to say he was mentally ill and that's why he took the life of this person. That's why he should be found not guilty. I'm sorry. He should be found guilty. In my opinion, I think he should be found guilty. He's facing an aggravated murder charge. Aggravated murder. So like, I don't know what the weight of that carries. I don't know if it says it here. Hold on. Yeah, he says he was very distraught, and I get that. Again, video so quickly proceeded. Okay. So I'm going to read this real quick. BB then described the fatal conclusion. Based on the witness statements as well as the video, the vehicle accelerated quickly, proceeded eastbound, crossed into the oncoming lanes of traffic, directly at where Deputy Henderson was standing, and struck the deputy. There was no evidence of skid marks or any other signs indicating Hinton Jr. tried to stop, according to me. So, and like, I don't believe he tried to stop. I'm trying to see if it tells you. That was his son. So it doesn't say the weight that it carries, but I again, this is the officer the life that he took, and I think that's what we need to focus on. That's one of the focus that needs to be here is, this is what he did. He took the life of a person that didn't deserve it. He took the life of a person who didn't hurt. He didn't do anything to him. He was wearing a uniform, and he was seen as an enemy, and he did it. And again, obviously, or he's suspected of doing it. Whatever. I don't want to get in trouble for saying things like that. But this is what he did. These are the actions he decided to take, and these are the wrong. And it was wrong. And my heart, my condolences go out to this family. But guys, we're in a society, and we need to get back to God. God needs to be the forefront of what our life is and what your family is and how to raise your families. Go check out other videos. Look, I am a man of faith. I wholeheartedly believe that the reason a lot of these things are happening is because we are getting to becoming a godless society. So that is all I got for you guys. Thanks for joining us. And this was kind of an impromptu video because I did see this and I really felt compelled to speak about it. So that's all I got for you guys. And we will catch you next time, guys. Mediocre Dad's out.